Hey, Master Gardeners, you want to impress some of your grandkids or kids in the neighborhood, I can tell you how to do it because I've put memorable marks on my nieces and nephews, remembering the years they've come to my house and eaten fresh strawberries. Fresh strawberries. Now, these are not fresh, these are out of California. And as a matter of fact, California produces 91% of all the fresh strawberries in the United States, and they can grow them year-round there. Let me take a bite and enjoy this. Oh my, this is actually a pretty darn good one. But once you've grown your own strawberries that have warmed up in the morning sun, there is nothing to compare. Of course, the local birds know how good they are too, because they're gonna visit your strawberry patch, and you better put up some netting to keep them out. Even the deer like to eat them. But wow, strawberry patch, a fabulous place to teach kids how to enjoy fresh fruit. So this is my strawberry patch, and it's only been here, this is the second year. I move it all the time around my yard because strawberries are not a long-term crop. After about 3 years, they start dropping in production, so you've got to move them to a new location. And I just turn over the old ones. I've actually had this cultivar of strawberry for years and years and years and years and years and years. One year I moved them up into containers, and I just let them cascade out of my container, and they creeped out of the container and planted themselves in a bed in the backyard, and I had a strawberry patch back there for the next few years, and then I finished with them back there, got too shady, and I just shifted them here 3 years. This is the second summer now. You know, the first year you have to cut all the flowers off your strawberries to get them established. You don't want fruit the first year. So let me talk a little bit about how much the whole cultivation of strawberries has changed over the years. Back when I was a kid, when we didn't have all these fabulous transportation highways and things, we usually had to buy them at a fresh market, or you grew them in your own garden. But nowadays, they're grown all year round in California and shipped, and then they're grown in Florida. Most of our winter picked berries are grown in Florida. And did you know the United States is the #1 producer of strawberries over all the world? So that's a pretty cool fact. But California and Florida. So if you grow your own strawberries, just think how much energy is being saved by you not buying, as I did, California strawberries. So you're saving shipping and trucking energy, but wow, the delights of growing strawberries. So how do you do it? There's 2 different kinds. If you're a small homeowner, the better thing to do is just buy the types that don't make runners. There are 2 types. One makes lots of vicious runners, which are my June-bearing ones, which is what I have here. And then the other ones are called Everbearing and day-neutral ones, and they tend to not make runners. And if they did make runners, you would want to cut them off. Those are the types that you would grow in your containers, your terracing areas, or places around the home. And because they bear out through the summer for 3 months at least, then it's fun for kids to just pick periodically. But if you really want all production and you want your biggest berries, you're going to go with the June-bearing cultivars. Make sure you research what kind of berry is best for your local area. And I wish I had my shovel with me. I'm going to yank one up. They're really particular about how deep you plant them. When you buy the crowns, you'll get a bundle of about 25 of them. And it's really important, this compressed stem has to be above ground. You have to make sure you don't sink this crown area underneath of the soil. They're very shallow rooted, which is one of the reasons you have to keep them irrigated during the summer months. But you've got to get them planted at the correct depth. And then for the first season, they'll produce these pretty white flowers, and you should come in and pinch off that flower. It's going to make you so upset to have to do that. But I did do that during my first season here. What you're doing then is encouraging vegetative growth, and you're encouraging the runners to come out. Usually that first time you're spacing them a substantial distance apart. I think it's something like 18 inches between plants when you first poke them in. And then you allow those runners to come out in all directions. You've got to come out regularly and redirect the runners into the open areas and get them settled in open spots. In the years that follow, you're going to have to cut the runners off because they're going to crawl into your aisles and things. And you actually have to, I bring pruners out and prune them off from those areas. So we get them in, we get them planted in the spring months, pinch off your flowers. You look up on the website for your proper fertilizing times. Usually you're doing that during the vegetative growing stage. But the following year in the spring, well actually during the winter, you got to cover them with straw. And I still have straw on. Usually you put 4 inches on them during the winter months to protect them. You know, there's all kinds of advancements in strawberries. There's cultivars now that you can actually plant in the fall months, in July, August, September even, and they will fruit for you the following year. So they're 1 year bearing. And a lot of the commercial producers, that's what they're doing. They plant them in a high in a high raised area, and then they sell them that spring, and then they empty out that whole row and grow other crops and then cover it again, buy new ones next year. So that's another new process, but so many improvements in strawberries. You're gonna get deer, you're gonna get groundhogs, you're gonna get animals coming in your garden. You gotta control those. You're gonna have to do some homework on which cultivars you like, but I'll tell you, you'll never have more fun than growing a delicious June-bearing strawberry in your garden. So have fun. We'll give you some links on how to grow them. Have fun.